Dying boy says goodbye to dog. But miracles happen when you lie next to him. Life is very unpredictable, and we never know what will happen next. One moment we're happy, laughing, and the next moment tragedy strikes. The unthinkable happened to a man's family in a horrific accident. A dog played an important role in the end. Find out what happened. Ben Howard's family was perfect and complete, until one day everything changed. If someone had told him that he would have to say goodbye suddenly, he would never have believed it. It all started in July 2001. Ben's wife, 39-year-old Giannini, was driving on Highway 89 in Layton when a distracted driver crossed the center lane and crashed into the family car. That tragic accident immediately took the lives of Giannini and their 13-year-old son, Matthew. The next day, 8-year-old Esther also died, while his 6-year-old son, Caleb, and 13-year-old sister, Rachel, were the only survivors. Ben was devastated. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. When he learned what had happened to his family, he rushed to the hospital immediately, and there he found his son, Caleb, in critical condition. The accident resulted in severe brain injury and fractured ribs. Still trying to process the sudden and painful loss of his wife and 2 children, Ben now also had to watch his son Caleb fight for his life. Caleb's serious condition left doctors desperate, and to make matters worse, he was barely responding to treatment. All this took a toll on Ben's mental health. He couldn't afford to lose one more person in his family, but he knew that the only thing that could save his son would be a miracle, and he was prepared for the worst. He started preparing his farewell speech, but then the doctor suggested something he'd never heard before. According to Ben's doctor, this therapy could improve Caleb's health, and as hard as he tried, he couldn't imagine how therapy could revive his sick son, especially when all medical treatments had failed. But it is in these darkest hours that we look for the smallest ray of hope. With that, Ben decided to give therapy a chance and hope for a miracle he feared would never happen. So what exactly was this therapy about? Initially, Caleb's doctor asked if he liked dogs, and the seriously ill boy nodded. So the doctors quickly came up with an intriguing plan. On the scheduled day of therapy, the Colonel, a dog from Intermountain Therapy, entered Caleb's room and with his trainer Susan. Colonel, a golden retriever, was known for bringing people back to life. His therapy was beneficial to many people, and the doctors hoped he could help Caleb as well. But would the therapy be effective, or would the sick 6-year-old have to live in a paralyzed state for the rest of his life? Everyone asked, holding their breath as the therapy dog moved towards Caleb, and everyone's surprised, something astonishing happened. Since Caleb entered the hospital, he'd never shown any signs of real awareness. But when Colonel entered, Caleb's gaze caught a glimpse of Colonel's soft fur as the dog lumbered across the room. And besides, when the nurse lifted Caleb's hand and helped him pet the dog, Caleb reacted. His surprising facial expressions also revealed that he enjoyed the ongoing activity. The hospital environment must have been pretty harrowing, but the Colonel's presence lit up Caleb's face. As soon as the first therapy session ended, the doctors reported that the boy's condition had improved tremendously. Ben was so pleased with the news that he just stood there staring at his son in disbelief and couldn't wait for the next therapy session. Each time the Colonel visited, Caleb showed more progress. First, he started moving his finger to indicate that he wanted to pet the dog. Over time, he began to struggle and was determined to move so he could play with the dog some more. He started to turn his neck, bending his elbow, and even whispering words. The next therapy session that followed impressed everyone, and Ben soon became the happiest father in the world. With the help of his therapist, Caleb started playing ball for Colonel to catch, and within a month, the unexpected happened. Caleb got up and walked alone. The therapy worked perfectly. After many surgeries and a lot of therapy, years later, Caleb's doing very well. The Colonel wasn't just any helper for the family, but a ray of hope in their darkest moments. We often think of pets as animals that only bring joy to our lives, but they've proven to be even a part of a medical treatment that can restore the disabled. In the next story, Johnny, a boy with autism, meets his soulmate. For most of Johnny Hickey's life, loneliness was his main companion. Although he loved his mother, father, and older brother, building a connection with them was a dead end, and none of them managed to get many words out of the boy. Johnny had no problems with speech, he could speak perfectly and even proficiently, but autism left him sad and isolated. Things were looking very bad for the boy as most of his social interactions resulted in painful embarrassment. As a coping mechanism, the boy embraced exotic activities. His day was usually the same. When he came home from school, he'd spend hours playing marbles in silence. No parent likes to see their child that way, and this behavior left Johnny's parents devastated. But soon things were about to change in this boy's life, in the most fun and exciting way ever. Meanwhile, a little dog not far from Johnny's house was getting her life back on track. She passed out in someone's apartment and was taken to the Colby County Animal Shelter service. When team members saw the little dog, they recoiled in fear. Chrissy Kasnick, member and founder of the group, couldn't believe how such a young dog could survive in such horrible conditions. She was completely dehydrated, hungry, and physically abused. But after enough liquids, supplements, and treatment, the dog began to improve. The puppy's quick recovery was a surprise to everyone, and Chrissy called her Xena, the warrior dog. She created a Facebook page to document the dog's story, and it didn't take long for Xena to steal the hearts of many, including Linda Hickey, Johnny's mother. Linda fell in love with the dog immediately, and although the family already had 2 adorable dogs, they were too busy to keep Johnny company all the time. A few weeks later, friends at County Animals announced that Xena was strong enough to be at a fundraiser. It's easy to guess what Linda did. Well, she brought her family to attend the fundraiser, and not long after, Linda adopted Xena. Soon, what started out as a kind gesture for the dog would be the answer to Linda's greatest wish. It all started when Linda decided to bring Xena along in the minivan when she picked up Johnny from school. When Johnny met Xena, his whole demeanor changed the moment he saw her. A beautiful, boyish smile appeared on his lips. Linda was amazed. She'd never seen such emotions on Johnny's face. She couldn't take her eyes off the pair as they formed an immediate bond. Another surprising event happened that strengthened the bond between Johnny and Xena. Linda took Johnny to a popular salon for a haircut, but anxiety got the better of him and he just couldn't make it. So the next day, Linda went with the whole family, including Xena, Johnny's newfound confidant. Linda's husband, 50-year-old gent, entered the room with Johnny while Xena and Linda waited at the door. Linda waved Xena's paw so Johnny could see her, and with Xena there, he had his haircut. The bond between the two has grown stronger over time, and Johnny continues to open up a little more. His mental health has also greatly improved, and he started to allow people into his personal space. Often, he would also sing to Xena on the way home from school. The parents couldn't believe the impact Xena had on their son's life. In the old days, her son barely spoke, but before her eyes, he became a nonstop chatter, thanks to Xena. They couldn't be happier. Just like Johnny, this 7-year-old boy with type 1 diabetes also has a best friend who saved him from the unthinkable one night. A few years after Luke Nuttall was born, his family adopted a puppy. They called him Jedi and began training him to become a diabetes watchdog. And as time passed, Jedi was able to use his snout to detect warning signs. Jedi is not just a service dog, he was also Luke's playmate and best friend. Jedi used to accompany Luke in all of his medical appointments, school, and even playdates. During these periods, Jedi always made sure to take care of his friend, and one night when something terrible could have happened, Jedi proved to be a true friend and savior. In over 4.5 years, Luke had never woken up alone when his blood sugar dropped. His parents are his safety net, and even though Luke doesn't know it, he depends on his parents to keep him safe every night. But one night, the unthinkable happened. That night, all the lights went out and every member of the Nuttall family was fast asleep. But something was wrong. Luke's blood sugar was too low, and he was in danger of losing his life. And unfortunately, the machine that monitored his blood sugar was silent. But someone was wide awake. Jedi, the dog. He was able to smell the change in Luke's blood sugar and knew his friend was in danger. And he immediately jumped into the bed Luke shared with his parents and started banging on the mattress in an attempt to wake the adults up. But unfortunately, it didn't work. So Jedi quickly devised another strategy. He jumped on Luke's mother, Dory Nuttall, and pulled her out of sleep. And then he continued to bow, a gesture he used to indicate low blood sugar levels. Dory immediately jumped out of bed and checked her glucose monitor, but it was normal. However, Jedi did not stop bowing. Then Dory quickly took her son's finger. The test revealed that his blood sugar was very low and dropping rapidly. She immediately gave him a glucose pill. When all was looking good, Dory snapped a picture. Luke was lying next to me, just inches from me, and without Jedi, I would have had no idea he was getting out of a safe level," she wrote in the photo's caption that went viral immediately. Dory also uses her Facebook page to create awareness about the reality of type 1 diabetes. In fact, a dog is the only thing on Earth that loves you more than it loves itself. Has your dog ever affected your health in any way? How did this happen?